we have Dom Tillson and Julia Burton-Brown for a 10-minute. It's good to mix these things up the time. So a 10-minute talk about yet more stuff on a different angle on attention.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. So, attention is a hot topic this year, in case you hadn't realised. It's even got its own stage. So I just want to tell you a bit about who we are. So first of all, Inskin specialises in multi-screen, high-impact digital advertising. So essentially, we generate attention for advertisers. So we design, build, and distribute these formats for our advertisers. So why attention is a hot topic? Right, this is an easy one. So if your ads aren't looked at, they can't have an impact. And there's clear evidence that campaigns that generate impact have positive effects on business outcomes like sales, conversions, brand perception, favorability, profitability, all this good stuff. And the current industry metrics just aren't good enough. So viewability only tells you if your ad has had the opportunity to be seen, but not if it has been seen. So it only tells you half the story. Attention's also been in the news, well, in the trade press. So the Attention Council recently published a meta-analysis on over 50 attention-based campaigns. And they showed clear evidence that ad campaigns that drove stronger outcomes, like all the ones I've just reeled off, favorability, sales, conversions, perception, etc., it made a massive difference. Whereas, interestingly, stats like video completion rate did not. And then Dentsu have been carrying out a rigorous study over the last few years to establish the value of attention as a media effectiveness metric, including how to price it, value it, measure it, and apply it in practice. And then the IAB wrote their rules of attention over 2 years ago. So what does all this look like? So the chart that you can probably not see here is data pulled from T-Vision, Lumen, and Ubiquity. But essentially, it's plotting seconds of attention per impression, and then it plots the cost per impression for various media formats. Now, this is where we fit in the mix. So the reason we generate so much attention is because there are two key drivers. There's lots of drivers of attention, but the two key drivers are time in view and screen real estate. So time in view is all about, we run in premium environments where consumers spend a lot of time with the content. So that's great for attention. And also we have a large canvas to get creative on. But the real point to land here is that, it's normal to see TV on a plan, social on a plan, but it's not normal to see high impact carved out as its own category. So we're bundled into standard display. And if you look at the bottom of the chart, you'll see desktop display and mobile web display not doing a lot for attention, but probably hitting your wallet quite hard. So as planners, you really need to be focusing on what is on top of the line because that's generating you most attention. So what we're doing about it. So we've partnered with Lumen, and we are we're providing objective third-party attention metrics on every campaign, and we're the first format provider to do so. So we now report on this stuff. So attention per 1,000 impressions, average visual engagement time per impression, percentage of impressions looked at, and total attention in hours for the whole campaign. Now, I may have just mentioned we're the first to do this, but we don't want to be the only ones because it should really become the norm for how digital campaigns are measured. It's so much richer and more valuable than just measuring clicks. And as we all get better at this, so the industry get better at this, marketers will be able to optimize, they'll measure attention across their whole campaigns and be able to optimize towards it. So I'm not suggesting that there's no place for standard display, but I am heavily suggesting that high impact digital should be on every plan. And it will be even better if everyone measures it in the same way. So we have a single currency to measure attention. And we've seen it happen when brand safety were hot topics, viewability were hot topics. So now the industry really needs to kind of pull together on attention because, I believe that it's the right path. So how it works. So we're working with Lumen in two ways. So the first is on a predictive model of attention. So data from Lumen's eye tracking panels has turned into an algorithm which estimates how much attention an ad is likely to produce based on a number of characteristics. And then the second way is in the real world using a lamp tag. Now, if you haven't heard of a lamp tag, you will be hearing about it. It's the Lumen Attention Measurement Platform tag. So we're in field with this at the moment. So it takes the prediction a step further and does it in real time. So in theory, you'll be able to optimize towards the best performing platforms and formats. Right, so these are the characteristics that impact attention. So there's ad size, so screen real estate. How much of the, of the screen are you taking up with your ad, whilst not annoying the consumer, of course. Ad positioning, so what other ads are on the page. So if there's a ton of other ads, ad clutter, nothing's going to get that much attention. Time in view, scroll speed, format, and domain. And the results are in from our rigorous testing. And we generate more per 1,000 impressions than any other web format. So we're actually more in line with a TV ad. So this is per 1,000 impressions. We generate about 15 to 20, if not more, times more attention. So this is the killer slide. So we deliver up to 20 times attention than standard display. And it's, like I said, significantly more than anything else. So this is why we believe high impact should be a category on its own and not just bundled in with standard display, which really diminishes its value and its impact. And in fact, at 3:20 today, I think on this stage, Anna Forbes, our COO, will be hosting a fireside chat with Rob Gold, who's the MD of Merkle B2B, to talk about exactly this, about high impact digital as its own category. So I'll now hand it over to Dom, our marketing director, who will move away from the science and into the art.
I know it's a burning question on all your lips, and yes, Mike and I do go to the same fancy dress shop. So I thought it was worthwhile just talking about some of the results we've actually seen so far. I guess the key thing really is to say that we've been applying this real-time attention measurement at a campaign level, and we're going to be sharing the results with our brand clients and partners over the next few weeks. As Julia alluded to, there are a number of factors that can actually affect attention, but it's interesting and probably quite important to see that a year-on-year increase has occurred in things like travel campaigns, as people are more and more desperate to get out there and get some sunshine. So the other attention-grabbing areas that we've really focused on are things like autos, FMCG, and retail, which you probably expect. And the reality is that those verticals tend to deliver really great assets, which leads on to another part of the attention puzzle. And that is, don't forget the creative. Whilst there has been a lot of science going on today, we cannot forget the art. And there's going to be a lot of talk about creative later and the part that it plays in generating attention. Creativity is the #1 driver of trust in advertising. And just because you have a huge canvas that can deliver a great opportunity to attract attention doesn't actually mean that people will look at it. We remind all our creative partners when we have calls with them that users don't go to websites to look at your advert. And it's amazing to see in a face-to-face world when the penny drops and people realise that. The problem is that the importance of creativity has been lost along the way. When the industry has been so caught up in the short-term, click-driven efficiency wars, we've often left the importance of the creative execution behind. So there's a bit of science here. At Inskin, we drive a lot of insights for our brand partners. And in this study a few years back, if you can see, we basically ran a campaign test against 3 different campaigns. And thankfully, across all 3, we delivered the most attention. What stuck out in our mind was that actually with campaign 3, the absolute amount of attention was significantly lower. And when we looked into things in a little bit more detail, what we realized is that with campaigns 1 and 2, we had digitally specific layered assets with great creative. Campaign 3 had what I would call a more traditional aspect, so a press campaign image and a TVC. And it just didn't give us the opportunity to be as creative as we would like to be. I guess the thing is that we want to try and limit the amount of creative flexibility, or campaign 3 limited the amount of creative flexibility we had. Thankfully, we still delivered more attention than the other campaigns, but it really highlighted the importance of creative assets and how they play in driving attention. So Rory Sutherland spoke recently on a campaign podcast about the warpath to elevate the role of creativity. And there was a part that really resonated with us, and he said that creativity is the magic fairy dust that just gets added at the end, when it really needs to be thought about up front. The digital advertising industry's targeting capabilities are more sophisticated than ever, And the nature of digital means that unlike TV and press, you can really buy a campaign today and go live tomorrow. The flip side of this efficiency is that campaigns are often built with TV and press assets, and they have limited turnaround times. And I guess the lack of importance placed on creativity has impacted, the value of standard display formats and the consumer experience. With high-impact digital formats like Inskin's, we have a canvas and a user experience that can deliver more effective advertising for all partners in the interaction between advertisers, publishers, and the consumer. So, long-term brand building with smart, consistent creative will always drive awareness and sales. So much digital marketing is short-term or performance-based, and it feels like the balance must be redressed. Creativity and context are back on the agenda, and now we can properly measure the impact of it. So if you'd like to find out more, pop along to our picnic table downstairs where you can win a bottle of fizz in our attention game, or hopefully, as Jules alluded to, we'll be talking about the impacts of high impact, or the importance of high impact digital in our fireside chat later with Anna. Thanks very much for your time.